Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Ask Rebecca radio show. Thanks for joining me. I hope that you're doing well and that you had a great week. The month of September is officially here and has started. Quick update on Lauren. Her kidneys were failing and she had to have stents put in them. Yesterday, she had to have another surgery to replace the original stents with different ones in hopes that they would do a better job at improving her kidney function. They're monitoring her all of today and overnight. The surgery itself went well. I was texting with her a little bit. She felt like things were successful and she's feeling pretty good and optimistic. But like I said, they're going to be monitoring her overnight. And if things go well and her kidney function improves, she will be released tomorrow from the hospital to go home. Now, if her kidney function doesn't improve, then unfortunately, she's going to have another surgery to replace the stents with nephrostomy tubes. And I probably butchered the name of that, but these particular tubes basically mean she would have tubes and a bag sticking out of her back in the area of her kidneys, which will make life even more unpleasant and uncomfortable for her. So I am asking you to please pray that her kidney function improves and that, we see some massive improvements overnight, which will then allow her to go home instead of having to go through even more challenging times with her situation. Again, both from myself and from Lauren, we thank you for your prayers and we appreciate the donations. And, it's just helping make life a little bit easier with the donations. But the biggest and most important thing that is of gratitude is your prayers. The prayers, we're praying for a miracle. We're praying that she is going to heal and get through this difficult time since her prognosis was so doom and gloom and bleak. So we're putting our faith and trust in God. So we appreciate all the prayers. Let's keep them coming. And I will give you an update next week. And those of you that are on my email list, when I email out the show tomorrow, I'll give you an update at that point because I'm going to touch base with her again. Okay, let me working on my notes here, having computer error, technical difficulties. Okay, moving on to September overview. Most of the month will bring your attention to your daily life and to your daily routines. You'll notice how they affect you in a much bigger way than what you may have believed. You'll be looking to declutter lots of areas and see where you are inefficiently in the areas, basically physically, mentally, and spiritually, right? So you're going to be forced to look at those areas, whether it's through challenges. We have different energies at play. So either way, you need to just look at where you're cluttered in your life with people, places, things, or even your home. If you have stuff laying around everywhere, just clutter. You know what I'm talking about, clutter. And what I would like to say when it comes to clutter is a cluttered space equals a cluttered mind, and it makes it really difficult to experience clarity because basically your outside reality is mimicking your thoughts and what your brain is doing. So it really is about mastering your thoughts and gaining clarity through that way. And obviously, I'm a big pusher of God, so connect with God. This time is also about taking responsibility for what you're experiencing and bringing into your life based on the routines that you've set up for yourself and based on the beliefs that you have and that you've created from the time you came out of the womb, right? There's beliefs that have been set up. And whether those beliefs are based in truth or not, they're what you are experiencing, and you've got to unplug from that, right? The mind really is the matrix of this reality, I guess is kind of the way that I could explain it. But either way, that's what's going to be kind of going on. And those of you who do not have routines or your daily affairs in order well, then that's going to be made clear to you as well, where maybe you need to basically set some things in motion for yourself so that you can, again, maybe feel more structured in nature to help you achieve your goals. And this is all tied to changes that you need to make. And the biggest one is shifting to accountability and responsibility. And you're basically getting the opportunity to focus on cleaning up your life, bringing your attention back to your life instead of being distracted by others and the things that are playing out on the world stage. Maybe it feels a little bit boring. Maybe it's a little bit of the mundane kind of things, but they're super important. It's important to get your life in order and get it in order where really strengthening your spiritual connection. And if you have a strong spiritual connection, well, then you've got to work on your mind and you've got to work on your body. And, so it's that trinity that you've got to be working on in order to really, be the design of God's perfect creation. Okay. You're also going to be bringing your attention, the caution that I was feeling about this month is not to allow this energy to suck you into the material world, and not to lose sight of strengthening your relationship with God, and also not getting, sucked into the drama, because that's going to be very easy to do this month, and I'll get into that in a second. You'll also experience rewards from hard work that you've put into your life, whether it's the work area, love, finances, health, and spirituality. It'll probably be a combination of all of those things. You're going to start seeing your hard work pay off, and that's going to be awesome, and that's going to keep you motivated to working on those things. You'll also have the energy to remain focused on and work towards long-term goals and your sense of security. So the energy is going to be prime for you to remain focused. Now, at the same time, this energy, though, is going to slowly begin to shift to more of a lazy vibe, right? It's going to be more lazy. And we've kind of had that this whole year where it's go, 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 slow down, feeling lazy, feeling lethargic, working through some stuff, and then go, go, go. So basically, you're feeling that shift to more of a lazy vibe. And with that, it's going to also bring distractions into your life to pull you away from the bigger picture of things. The other challenges that arise this month are from trying to force things to happen before they're ready. So you're forcing. And when you're forcing, you're working against God's plan for you, right? Which that will then manifest itself into frustration and anger. Do your best to just be in the flow. If something isn't happening on your timeline, it's because God is in charge of that timeline and you are not. You are in charge of how you deal with it and cope with it, and whether or not you're going to choose to listen to the higher guidance that's coming to you through the form of your intuition, or if you're going to basically not listen. And then what happens when you force yourself to do something, or others are trying to force you to do something and you're going against what you're feeling and the guidance that you're receiving, well, then you're allowing yourself and opening yourself up to negative energies to come in and create confusion and chaos in your life. So when you're experiencing confusion and you're experiencing chaos, it's because you're not listening. You're not listening. You're not listening, right? You're disconnected from that higher power, that the God, God that created you. So unfortunately, these negative energies are very much going to be present, and they will attempt to create much stress in your life, especially this month, but going forward, I feel that the level of intensity is going to increase more and more as we move into this massive time of change. And if you don't believe in God and you aren't working on understanding what is going on in this world, and you're just really caught up in the material reality and the physicality of this life, well, that's run by the false light, and you're going to continue to fall into a steady flow of chaos, and life is going to continue to be strong, is going to still come in the form of struggle for you. With that being said, this month will also bring about huge catalysts and opportunities to change your viewpoint and allow you to open yourself up to the idea that everything you've been taught and told is a lie. Yeah, this may sound completely ridiculous to you, but in the end, you will know for certain. And by that time, it potentially will be too late for you. And so again, open yourself. This is the best time right now. The situation that we're in is really giving us the opportunity to change our way of life, and you can redirect your energy and focus to the spiritual side of things. And I recommend diving into the Bible. That's kind of what I've been doing, but I'll get into that later. Okay, so basically what is happening is the old system will continue to break down this month, while a new one is continuing to rise up. And unfortunately, the new system is going to be an even bigger deception coming in the form of good. So everything is changing. And I know that you sense it. And I know that there's so many of you out there that are feeling something just isn't right. Something doesn't feel right. And now that you have that feeling, question it. Seek guidance, seek the truth, look, because on the personal level, that system that's breaking down is also affecting you on a personal level of your old way of doing and your old way of being and your old way of believing, and the old structures and systems that you've set up for yourself that you've gotten comfortable with in life are also breaking down. And that can be very uncomfortable and very chaotic. And you are seeing that play out in the world right now, but it's also affecting you on a personal level. So it's really learning to detach from that, to unplug from that system. And really, what do you have to lose by trying something completely different and putting your faith and trust in God instead of what you see in front of your face through the system that is false, right? And again, if you do research, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. So again, strengthen your connection, seek truth, you will get validated, and you will find yourself experiencing deeper levels of peace, and they will be deeper than you've ever experienced in your life. So I highly recommend that you do so. And, I would just say, don't knock it until you try it. And again, you have nothing to lose. You have absolutely nothing to lose by trying something completely different from what you're used to doing. Because let's be honest, if we're honest with ourselves, it's not working, right? And those of you who are open to this and who have been doing that, you're already experiencing your life in a profound way, in a peaceful way, in a very fulfilling manner, because you have basically given your burdens over to God. Now, you'll also see some really positive changes where you're feeling guided to work on your body as well. You want to become healthier. I feel like everybody's going to be wanting to exercise, and that's kind of already started right now with the whole situation. Everybody's a little more health conscious, and I think that's a really good thing. But you're also going to be working on body, mind, spirit. So it'll be all three that you're working on this month. So for the most part, it feels like a pretty good month with, it's life. So there's challenges. You're constantly being pulled in one direction or another because you have to use your free will to make a choice. Okay. All right, let's get into what you can expect from today, September 1st through to September 8th, as an overall theme, and then areas of love, work, finances, health, and spirituality. And after the intuitive messages, I'll get into more of the silent spiritual war that we're currently facing. And I will then do another separate video on my YouTube channel showing you some video evidence of the things that I discuss. General themes for this week. This week will be highly emotional, meaning whether you are feeling happy or sad, you're going to be feeling it more intensely. You may also have, I'm reading my notes and I typed very fast and just completely screwed up what I was writing. But the gist of it is that you may also move through different emotions very quickly at the same time. So, all in a day, you could experience every single emotion on this spectrum, and you could feel it intensely, all of them. So it's going to be kind of a weird week with that. But, just roll with it, do the best that you can. I would just recommend feeling what you need to feel, but don't attach to them, right? Basically, don't let your emotions control you. We can also see some drama, fears, addictions, patterns of behaviors, and spiritual confusion come about this week, depending on whether or not you are taking responsibility and accountability for what you experience in your life. Then you're likely to have breakthroughs in whatever challenge that you might face this week, whatever highly emotional situation that could come about. You are going to have some major breakthroughs, but that breakthrough is only going to happen if you are taking responsibility and accountability. So a lot of people don't want to do that. They want to remain in victim consciousness, and they want to blame everybody else for what they're experiencing in their life, and, pretending or deceiving themselves into believing that they don't have any other choice but to experience what they are experiencing. And they aren't open to hearing people like myself telling you, hey, maybe try this way, right? They can believe in all kinds of stuff without proof or evidence of it, but can't believe in a higher power. So a higher power, God, that created you. So just think about those things. Okay, you may also feel some pressure around love and money. That is the Virgo energy that's coming in here. At the same time, though, there can be new ways of generating income and new breakthroughs in love. You just have to change the way that you're doing things, right? Get more grounded. And if you strengthen your connection with the divine, you're going to be guided exactly in how to do that. You're going to be guided, I promise you. Now, this can also show up in the form of push, pull, release, if that makes sense. Work, for those of you that are employed, I feel more people will be transitioning to working to home, from physically going to a location and basically working online at home. I feel like there's going to be different systems and structures put in place. And even if temporarily it's a little bit chaotic where, maybe you're waiting on a company computer, so you have to use your own computer, and then you need to wait on a phone line and all these different things. But it feels like many of you are going to be transitioning in a new way. And maybe even some of you that have gone back to work, that might shift to go back to working from home. So kind of maybe what it is the opposite of what you are doing right now. It just feels like a merging of the two. It's home and work merging. And I also feel some feminine energies here at play that will be very supportive, along with an overall nice workflow, which to me signifies there's progress, there's kind of forward momentum. And this feminine energy that comes in, I feel like could potentially be connected to a person who is really going to help you in some form when it comes to work and maybe your career. Unfortunately, I do feel as though some of you will be feeling dissatisfied more and more with your current situations. This week, I kind of, sorry, my notes are all messed up, you guys, so I'm trying to interpret what the heck I was trying to say here. So this week, things are going to be good, okay, for the most part, but they could be intense because of the emotional undercurrents at play. So if you're feeling dissatisfied, it's just going to be a heightened sense. And there's a reminder to take accountability for what you're feeling and why you're feeling what you're feeling, and really consider, can you do something about it, even if it means changing your attitude and outlook by shifting into a space of gratitude for the fact that you even have a job right now, because there's many people that aren't able to work. Those of you that are looking for a job, I feel progress, but I'm not feeling any real hiring. Everything feels more to just out of the box type thinking, where you're doing grocery deliveries or helping other people. Like, I just feel like it's other stuff besides the traditional way that work used to happen. And again, there's also this feminine energy here that I feel is at play, which is supporting you with any sort of career changes, or maybe making connections for you to find a job, or give you some insight into your working life if you aren't currently working. In the area of love, those of you in committed relationships, and actually this week, this message kind of applies to both committed and singles. There's some negative energies around insecurity, clinginess, neediness, desperation, and chasing. And you may be opening up about your feelings and have discussions about issues that you're noticing in your relationship, and you're noticing about yourself. So maybe you're speaking to your partner about these things. If you're not in a relationship, maybe you're bouncing this stuff off of somebody that you trust. Maybe you're bouncing it off of yourself, maybe you're bouncing it off of God, or maybe you're bouncing it off of all of the above. But either way, you're kind of talking about it. You're having realizations around it. Now, to me, you're having to look at this because you have to face it, and you have to face the problem so that you can get it resolved. And I feel like some of you are having the same issues. You're just experiencing it in different ways. Like your partner, you're mirroring your issues to each other, but you're just projecting blame and acting it out in different ways. And like I said, this message kind of applies to both couples and singles. It's a lot of transformation and change in this area that's happening. And also with singles, there's a need to change and increase your self-esteem and self-worth in order for a healthy love relationship to come your way, or so that you can get better at picking and discerning who you're choosing, right? So you're attracting people into your life, but because of the way this system is set up, you're attracting good and you're attracting bad. But if you're constantly choosing the bad, you've got to take a look at yourself, because you're the one that's making that choice, and you have to take responsibility for that. So that is going to basically, again, come about because that is this whole month theme of accountability and responsibility, and bringing clarity to those things. Finances, changes, I feel, are looming, for some positive, for some negative. There's just change, and we'll have to see how it plays out for you this particular week. Health, balance, and taking your time to work on your physical vessel. I feel like it's going to be high stress and high emotions. Spirituality, work on shifting to a positive attitude, strengthening your connection to God. You could feel some depression, maybe some sadness. The other energy at play here is to work on trusting yourself and trusting your communication from the Holy Spirit, or in other words, God. Seek truth for yourself and don't just blindly follow anyone, including me, right? Because I'm also I'm sharing my connection of what I'm receiving from God, but I'm human. I could be misinterpreting things. So again, you've got to do your due diligence, and you have to establish your own guidance and your own connection with God. So that wraps up the intuitive messages for this week. Let me briefly get into, I've only have a few minutes left, so let's get into the spiritual war. And those of you who have been watching my videos, especially last week's 4-hour-long video that I did, I'm sure it put you into a bit of turmoil. Waking up to this information, especially when you clearly see that something isn't right, that part of what you're seeing really is making a lot of sense, it can put you into a state of really high emotions, and it can feel like your whole world is just, it's just been ripped from your existence, right? I get it. I've been there and I've been going through this in varying degrees over the last several years. I've finally gotten to the point of understanding enough to where God, I feel, has been pushing me to begin to share this information with you. Now, some of you, my regular clients, the ones that I've had a connection with for many years, we've talked about these things in our private sessions, but it's not something that I've really gotten into deeply on, a broader platform like this out in the open. But I have been feeling very guided to share this information. And like I said, I've been pushed to do so. And believe me, I really didn't want to because it's downright uncomfortable. And I know that it will cause some people to walk away from me or make judgments against me. But the message that I received from God was loud and clear, and that's not my burden to carry at all. That's whoever walks away, that's their burden. And maybe they come back once they get some realizations or see some evidence of the things that I've talked about, and then they come back. And if they don't, that's okay, because you either want the truth and unconditional love, which can be a bitter pill to swallow, or you don't, because you've fallen for the deception of the false truth and unconditional love, which is easy. So in other words, you either believe in God or you deceive yourself into thinking you believe in God. And I feel like we're meant to uncover and discover these truths together without our ego involved. So I want to try to bring some clarity, and I've got a minute left, and I think I can get this out if I talk really quickly. I want to try and bring some clarity so that you can understand that what I'm showing you is this earth is run by deception, and we are moving from an energy of evil to one of false light. Basically, we are going from evil to bad before Jesus, God, comes in and officially cleans house. The false light that is emerging is what you're seeing at play in politics now. Trump is being propped up as the savior, and for others, it's Biden. And I can tell you now that I seriously doubt Biden's going to win, because he is the old beast system, or the swamp, or the deep state is maybe a term that's more familiar to you. And I'm going to leave it here because I only have 30 seconds left. So thank you all for tuning in. I can't wait to connect with you next week. The rest of this message is going to be under Spiritual War video number 4. I will see you next week. Bye.